anybody that doesn't know me, my name is Amy Hedamio. I'm the scientific director at Body Science, and I want to introduce Brian, Coach Brian. Body Science, we're a center that focuses on neurodegenerative disease, and we have a lot of expertise specifically in ALS. So that's to say we work with Parkinson's and Alzheimer's, multiple sclerosis, but we have a very particular expertise in ALS. And the reason I say that is because Brian has a history of diagnosis with ALS. He came on over here, we treated, and so you are now looking at a person who has successfully beat ALS, right, or reversed from ALS. And so we had spoken a while ago, and your point was, hey, Aim, I want to come on down. I want to fly down to the clinic in order to get the information out about the reversibility, the treatability of this disease. And there are a few people that are in a position to do that aside from you, right? Somebody that has dealt with ALS, Coach Brian, right? Because you are a wrestling coach, came over here as somebody that was a wrestling coach that could no longer wrestle. Let's talk about the story, and our goal is a couple of things. Thing number one, to make clear to everybody the treatability of this disease. This disease looks to be treatable and reversible. So let's take a few minutes and just talk about Brian's history of diagnosis and symptoms. Thing number two, the role of not just infections, which are part of your picture, but also gut health, and the channel that you're launching on fitness and overall health. That way you know how to find Brian in the future. And then thing number three, I think, is just kind of our mission together, which is making sure that we're providing the kind of information that people need to find your channel, look up to see what we're doing, get the treatment that they need in order to get this disease under control. Okay, so now let me turn it over. Brian, you have written a book. So Brian is an author, a coach, and a survivor of ALS. Will you start by telling us when you and I met? Here's my question. Can we see one of these?
I guess.
Okay, can we see two of them?
There you go.
Okay. You came here in 2021. How much did you weigh?
High 140s.
High 140s. How much do you weigh now?
190.
Okay. When I met Brian a couple of years ago, Brian looked like a man that had ALS. You'd been diagnosed. Tell us about the diagnosis process.
I just went to two different doctors. The one doctor told me I had 2 to 5 years to live and get my affairs in order, take care of my bucket list. So I went higher up to the second doctor, and he said the same thing after some more advanced tests. So I decided to give a functional place a try, and that's when I contacted Body Science.
So for everybody that's watching this video that has ALS, or somebody that you love has ALS, everybody knows the story, or everybody has been there, diagnosed with this disease and given the explanation that you have a couple of years, get your affairs in order. We met, you were already in the process of ALS and all the symptoms that go along with it. Would you tell us some of the symptoms that you were dealing with?
One of the first things was drooling. I was working down at my rental and I bent over and just started drooling, and it got really bad. Fasciculations, they were firing in my legs, and then they were in my upper body and just all over the place. It got pretty bad. Muscle cramps. Stopped lifting because the cramps really started bothering me. Muscle tremors. Dizzy, lightheaded. I really started getting weak really fast. I stopped lifting, stopped exercising, stopped doing everything, started laying around. Didn't have the energy to get up. And then eventually it started to affect my, first was swallowing. I definitely had issues with swallowing. And then breathing. And eventually I was actually starting to look into a wheelchair first. That's it.
Our goal is to come back and do a couple more videos. So we'll do kind of individual segments. What I would tell you, preparing for those, we found Lyme disease. We found mold toxicity. We found some chemicals as well. So it's kind of a preview for what we'll talk about next. Let's go through things. So this video, our objective, anybody that thinks that ALS is not treatable or reversible, this is kind of time to change your mindset. And the videos that come up, let's go through kind of piece by piece. What did we find as far as infections? What did we treat as far as those infections? How did we treat? And then what the process of that 1 to 2 years looked like until you got your functionality back. Brian, how long did it take?
It started slow, and then after about a year, I started feeling good. It took a while. I think I caught it right at the beginning of it. I like thinking it was like a cup just filled and started to tip over, I guess. I caught it early. But it took a good year. And the big thing is just, I ate clean and did everything that Body Science told me to do.
Well, you had, again, some major gut issues, and so we took a look, found them. We were talking before this video, we went after infections, we did a lot of belly stuff as well, and so the question was, had we done one or the other? Had we just cleaned up belly-related issues, but not gone after infections, we were saying, I don't think that you would have gotten better. And vice versa, had we just gone after infections, but not corrected the nutritional depletions and gotten belly health, I don't think you would have gotten better. You have a history prior to the diagnosis of fatty liver disease and some elevated blood sugar, elevated blood pressure. And so I know it really came down to figuring out all the individual pieces. You've done an amazing job. Everybody that's watching this, you've probably seen a couple of other videos from other people that came here with ALS and then got better. And so one thing I would tell you that's common between every single person, you were super strict. You changed your diet, you made major changes, and you stuck with them, like perfectly stuck with them for that length of time. It is true, guys. We had certain things that we really needed done on our side clinically, as far as your diet and removing foods or adding certain foods. You were incredibly diligent at getting those things done.
Yeah, I had a list of 5 foods that I stuck to, and obviously I had other things, but they were things going to help me change my that nutritional panel I got, turn it around. I stuck with them every single day. The sauerkraut, the lemon, I can go on and on. The broccoli, the blueberries, the green banana. I stuck with them every single day.
Now, what I would say for anybody that's watching, do not go on that diet. Meaning, in your case, yeah, I mean, we did some comprehensive nutritional testing, and then we got a really clear idea of where deficiencies had showed up and what we wanted to put on board. And so the key, and I think the takeaway, if you've got infections, they've got to be treated. If there's nutritional depletions, they've got to be fixed. When there's belly-related problems, they have to be addressed. And of course, it's not an overnight situation. So what I would say, I don't think anybody looking at Coach Brian today would ever imagine 2 years ago, 140 pounds with so many symptoms of ALS, having been diagnosed, right, and told to go home and get your affairs in order because you wouldn't be around. Well, imagine 2 years later, that's right now. So here we are 2 years later, really looking at the treatability of this disease. All right, so we'll do more videos. You're here for the next couple of days. Brian just flew in today. So we'll do a couple more, but specifically looking at different things. Let's talk about exercises and suggestions that you have for people that are getting better. Let's talk about diet and how to clean it up, and we can even reference the specifics of some of your tests. Let's talk about the infections that we treated and specific ways that we address those infections. Let's even show before and after so we can see what levels look like, and then we treated and where levels came down to, because it wasn't until we got those infection levels under control that we started seeing improvement. So again, it was that whole combination. We'll go through a handful of videos and see if we can get that explanation, and then afterwards to find Brian's channel, because I know you're dedicated to the idea of teaching people how to find the right exercises and the right nutrition to get healthy and stay healthy. What's the channel name?
ForeverFit, Coach Brian. ForeverFit, Coach Brian.
You got it. Anything else we want to say today, or we'll finish up with videos tomorrow?
No, I'm just happy to be here. I'm just excited to share my information, share my experience, and hopefully others start to realize it's curable.
It's an important message. All right, we'll see you guys back for the next video.